So this is what I have so far of the styrofoam drawing I've been working on. These green gaps are supposed to represent the ground because they're supposed to be these sort of gaps between the ground and the shoe. And I thought that if I simply colored those gaps in using a black Sharpie marker, that would be more likely to be mistaken as part of the brown boots than what I ended up using, which was a sort of default green Sharpie marker meant to represent, again, a grassy ground. I spent the morning to early afternoon hours of maybe about 1 p.m. Working on basically drawing outlines for things like the arms and hands using primarily an ultrafine Sharpie marker, drawing the outlining for the sweater, the pants, and the shoes. I got as far as coloring in most of the shoes brown, using what I think amounted to me going through about at least a dozen brown Sharpie markers, because they all kept being starting to dry out, but still usable, which is ideal if you want to use a brown Sharpie marker to do brown eyes on someone, because a fresh brown Sharpie marker will be so dark that there won't be much distinction between the brown iris or iris and the black pupil of an eye. Dad started marinating these steaks at about 7 p.m. Then he started cooking them. And a few minutes before 9, it was 7 p.m. when he started marinating them. It's currently 9:37 p.m. now. He used a whole bunch of spices for these steaks, including all of my man crate spices, including the explosive habanero one. And it was just about enough to make me cough a little And when I was in that ventilated kitchen area, and when the steak was being cut up and it was all done, and Dad made the beets to go with it. Though at this point, I hardly notice the spiciness. It still adds a good kick, however. A pretty good kick. Over the past 1 to 2 hours, I registered for and played a game called Internal Fury, just so I could complete a task for Game Hag by having my main character reach level 15, for which I opted for the female mage character. And as of now, everyone in my formation is currently female, including the Flame Goddess. Although, Internal Fury, is one of those games where you can complete all the tasks just by clicking at random arbitrary spots around the screen, due to how much hand-holding the game will do for you in the beginning. And it's also one of those games in which there's a million different things to do, or seemingly a million different things. It gets overwhelming. There's turn-based combat of all different kinds of variety. It's one of those games. Which is fine, but I don't like it as much as a game like this, where I have this sort of base to develop. And there isn't a million different things that you have to do in order to get the most out of the game. To get the most out of it, you only have to invest a bit of time each day, essentially. Which is good for me, because I would much rather work on styrofoam drawing projects like I did on this one today. I used a dark raspberry Sharpie marker, this one right here, in order to represent a darker shade of brown, or at least try to represent a darker shade of brown. Dan and I did a whole bunch of errands during the afternoon hours. Hey.
Alright, are you ready?
Yeah.
Haircut, driving, Salvatore's, Mom's, Wegmans, and then the realtor.
Yeah.
And then we went home.
Thanks, Dad.
Okay? All right,
okay. So we left the house at around 12:30, which does count as afternoon. Technically, 12:01 p.m. counts as the afternoon. Before we left, though, Dad tried to trim up my facial hair in an effort to have his current barber avoid trimming my facial hair up. Since I only wanted the buzz cut. But despite me telling Jess to avoid the face, she still trimmed up my facial hair to the point where I pretty much just have some of the mustache left. Maybe it was felt that when Dad trimmed up my facial hair, he didn't do a very good job of it. I felt it was a pretty good job, though. It's not a big deal because it grows back. It was an enjoyable haircut. Buzz cut and little shave. But during the buzz cut, she was a bit rough with one of the tools and ended up scratching the back of my neck. It was noticeable to Mom, and then noticeable to my dad when she pointed it out, although for obvious reasons I couldn't really see it myself. For me to see it myself, I would have to take a picture of it with my phone, the same one I'm using to film this video right now. At Wegmans, we returned bottles. There were some complications, though, because two of the plastic and cans container return bins were full, and another one became full after I put in 2 containers. Regardless of that, us having some glass containers, we managed to return all the container deposits in relatively short order. Not much time, generally speaking. This is the magnesium water. At Salvatore's, I had a daily drink special. I mean, a drink of the month known as the Red Mule, which was a ginger beer with lime juice and Eddie's grapefruit juice. I believe the full name is Deep Eddy, something like that. And then Dad and I split a large sub that consisted of basically assorted Italian with mayo, black olives, tomato, lettuce, onions, and with the addition of banana peppers on the side for Dad. We were supposed to get our chosen root beer with it, but we ended up forgetting to ask for it. Dad stopped at Mom's place in order to basically print out some things in preparation for doing some things with his realtor. And while at Mom's place, I brought over some more Sharpie markers from there, in the hopes that doing this would increase the chances of me having the necessary styrofoam drawings in order to complete any styrofoam projects I do between now and when Mom picks me up on the 11th. It turns out we're not going to Whitesville, so I guess I don't have to immediately work on that Whitesville Historical Society styrofoam drawing right after I finish this one. Yeah, Dad told me that this one looks so real. And that's because there has been increased effort to make my styrofoam people drawings look more realistic. While at Wegmans, Dad also got a 12-pack of aluminum cans of a certain variety of beer. I think Wrench is in their brand name, something like that. I did the coloring in of the pants. I started working on that when Dad and I got back from all of our errands today at around 4:30 p.m. And in total, that took me somewhere between 1 hour and 3, but I didn't color nonstop because I only have the one dark raspberry Sharpie marker, and I think it's possible I found it within the Sharpie markers I brought over from Mom's place. So I didn't color the pants in one go because at times I was concerned about that Sharpie marker drying out. It's not exactly 100% fresh since I recall using it in the past on past projects. I uploaded the June 7 my dinner video within maybe around 9 in the morning. And the June 8 my dinner video, it uploaded sometime in the afternoon because I edited and started uploading it while I was at Salvatore's. For the driving practice, it was actually in 2 sessions. The first one was something Dad and I have done many times in the past, which was driving practice on the live streets that make up either Dad's old mail route or his current mail route. And by mail route, I mean the route to which he delivers mail, or used to deliver mail. For the second session, Dad had me do some driving practice on the street / cul-de-sac, since it does have, the streets do have a cul-de-sac feel to them with how wavy they are. Yeah, I did well for the second session, and for the first session, I think, based off what I recall, it started off a bit rough, but then got better as I kept practicing. I think what I need to work on is trying to make turns quicker when such a thing is needed, and to try not to be choppy with both my turning, my acceleration, and my braking. And this is 2% milk Dan and I got from Wegmans. We only ended up getting a few things because we already have stuff at home from Aldi's trips. And plus, we had that sub at Salvatore's earlier. There was also a brief stop at a pawn shop in which Dad asked around if they had any laptops, and I asked if they had Sharpie markers and styrofoam. And they said yes, but they actually meant that they use Sharpie markers. And when I asked that, I meant if they had any Sharpie markers for sale. I guess it would be kind of goofy to pawn, Sharpie markers, but I didn't think of that at the time.